Hello and welcome. My name is Justin Hall, part of the CIT 230 course here at BYU, Idaho, and this is my explain video, explaining the differences between UX and UI in web development. So what is UX and UI? What are they? They sound pretty much the same. Both start with a U, and both talk about processes in designing a website. So if they sound the same and they talk about a similar thing, are they not the same? False. They're not. Not even close, although they are related. So let's break them down. Start with UX. The UX stands for the user experience of a site, how the overall website feels to the user. It's the overall experience of a person using a product, such as a website or computer application, especially in terms of how easy or pleasing it is to use. Have you ever accessed a website that was frustrating to use? You couldn't find anything you wanted? One that comes to mind for me right now is Craigslist. With such a broad topic of the user experience of a site, I could cover almost anything. The user experience is not concerned with the colors and topography of the website at all. That would fall under the purview of the UI designer. So what is the UX, and what is the UX designer concerned with? The UX designer is concerned with the content of a website, how customers interact with that content, the product structure and strategy of the site, and the content development for the site. Breaking it down further, the structure of the website itself. UX is concerned with the wireframing of the site, the actual designing of what boxes go where and what menus are located in which positions. The UX is concerned with prototyping, constantly testing and iterating new versions of a site to improve the way that it makes the user feel, and developing plans for the future of the site. The job of a UX designer is never done. In the execution of the site, the UX is concerned with tracking of goals. Is the site portraying the content that it was supposed to in the way that the owners would want? Let's take a look at a site that I think has a great user experience. iFly50.com by the airline KLM. The website itself was designed to show users photos of travel destinations, to bring out the traveling spirit in all of us. It's not designed to show travel blogs or text of almost any kind. Because of this picture focus, the website itself makes the pictures front and center, getting all other elements out of the way. You can see at the bottom of the screen options for controlling the volume, for seeing what picture you're on, changing your language, and in the top right-hand corner, even a menu icon that would be familiar to many Android users, the typical 3-line hamburger icon. But everything else is minimal and out of the way so that the user can experience the content that the developer wanted them to. The UX designer also included audio in this experience, allowing the user to fully appreciate the pictures that are being shown. The user is able to navigate this website in ways that make sense, scrolling through photos with the scroll wheel on your mouse, or using the arrow keys to go up and down. Everything about this site just makes sense for what it was designed to do, and the experience gets out of the way of the content. This is a good UX. Let's spend 30 seconds appreciating this user experience. As an example of the UX design process, this website was not always so good. There have been complaints in the past about how you navigate through the site. Previously, navigating through the photos required clicking and holding, a method of movement that was both user hostile and frustrating, leading to many users quitting the site before seeing all the photos. The developer over time improved and changed the way that you navigate their site, showing that UX development and that UX itself must ever change. User experience does not only apply to the world of technology and websites, although this is what we commonly think of when we think of UX. But all things could have a UX designer. Let's take my morning commute, for example, particularly the light rail I take. If a UX designer was hired to improve the experience of a rider of the light rail, in the next version of the car, they might think about better noise isolation, more comfortable seats, improved ride quality, all things that make the experience more enjoyable and let the ride itself get out of the way from the destination. So that brings us to UI. What does that mean? UI stands for the user interface, the means by which the user and a computer system interact, in particular, the use of input devices and software. Or in layman's terms, the user interface is the look and feel, the presentation of the site. But wait, that sounds really close to what the UX was. It's important to remember that UI is not UX. However, they are related, and one might consider the user interface to be an extension of the user experience. So then what is a UI developer responsible for? A UI developer is responsible for taking the UX development and turning it into an attractive, user-guiding, and responsive experience. They're responsible for the look of the site, for doing design research, branding and graphic development, for developing a user storyline, or in other words, how a user is going to move through the site, and how to direct the user down the path which they want them to take. They're responsible for the colors of a site, what pops and why. The UI developer is responsible for the responsiveness and interactivity of the website. They might go through many prototypes of the UI, ensuring that a website is interactive and that animations make sense, and importantly, that the website will adapt to all device screen sizes. So what makes a great UI then? A great UI has to be efficient. Does the design allow the user to complete the tasks that they're there for? It has to be memorable. When the user returns the next time to your site, are they still going to remember how to use it? It has to be intuitive. When a new user comes to your site, can they easily figure out how to operate your site and get to the information that they're there for? And it has to be enjoyable. Users have to enjoy using your website, or at the very least, they can't not enjoy your website. A frustrating and user-hostile website is one of the quickest ways to get users to leave your site and not return. So if the UI is an extension of the UX, what is really the difference? If we're talking about a human body, the UX would be the internal organs, the muscles, the skeletal structure, everything that makes the site possible, the content, the structure of the site. And the UI would be the skin, the layer that we all see, the attractiveness of the site. Let's take a look at a website that I would consider to have a good UI. VirginAmerica.com. When a user goes to VirginAmerica.com, more than likely, they are there to find a flight for their next trip. Unlike many other airline websites, Virgin America has the controls to find a flight front and center. No trying to push your credit card before you can even search for your flight. The colors of the site contrast from one another, with the main white background, darker grays, and the purple and red of Virgin America, drawing your eye to the important part to the site. Each page of the site is consistent, each with the same visual style tying it all together, and each with the most important part of that page front and center for the user to find. So in conclusion, you have to remember, UX and UI are not the same. They are related, and UI could be considered an extension of UX.